What do you see?
I see you grown and very strong. And I see you in London working with your father.
In the theatre.
At the Playhouse.
What will I be doing?
What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I should be one of the players with a sword.
Sword?
Yes. And I shall clash it against the sword of the other player.
Show me.
Agnes proclaims what she sees for her son's future in the tragic drama Hamnet, the latest film from Academy Award-winning director Chloe Zhao. Okay, Brad, so Shakespeare, grief,
sadness.
This movie
is sad, Bryan.
I mean, this is the perfect movie for the holiday season, right?
I mean, kind of. Certainly my holiday season.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Chloe Zhao.
Same.
I love the cinematography, and we get new cinematography from, I can't remember his name now, but the guy who did the cinematography for Ida, the Polish film.
Okay.
Which is, like, this movie looks gorgeous.
It's a beautiful looking film.
And when it is going like full Terrence Malick and observing and just settling into the nature, the surroundings of these characters, like that's when I was at like my most serene watching this movie.
Same, and it's interesting you mentioned Terrence Malick because I kind of, looking at the first half of this movie, kind of building up, I like how this movie really takes its time building the relationship between Agnes and Will. You know, we don't really get his name until later in the movie.
Yeah, but we all know it's Shakespeare
we all know.
Yeah.
But I like how in the beginning, like, you see them meet, you see them fall in love, you see them have their family, you see the differences between their families with the two of them coming together, which I think also kind of speaks to some of the stories that Shakespeare ultimately ended up writing. But there's something very, like you said, there's very naturalistic about the way Chloe Zhao directs. And with the Jessie Buckley character of Agnes, you know, I like how she is really in tune with nature and the forest. And Emily Watson's character calls her like a witch, you know, a forest witch or something like that. And I thought that was interesting just to kind of see that, how that all played out with her character. Just seeing like the naturalism of her, her connection with
and how
nature.
that reflects what we will ultimately see in the plays of Shakespeare. Like, there's all these little, and like, forgive me, I haven't read Shakespeare in a long time. I've watched some Shakespeare adaptations.
Same.
But it's been like 20 years since I've been in school.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
But like, I could recall, like, okay, there's a little bit of Midsummer Night's Dream here, a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, a little bit of, you know, Macbeth, The Tempest. And like, it is fun to watch the movie that way. I felt like, boy, I really should have like boned up on some Cliff Notes before watching Hamnet. I probably would appreciate it even more. But to me, ultimately, what this movie is about is how grief can shut you down and scramble your experience with the outside world. You know, how it makes you go inward, and how it makes your ability to experience things outside of your body like almost impossible. And when it's the death of a child, I can't even really imagine what that would be like. And watching how Shakespeare reacts to it through the perspective of, you know, his wife, played by Jessie Buckley, and this insanity that she's experiencing because she doesn't know how to communicate, and she doesn't like the way that her husband's expelling his grief. Just that compelling.
And that takes me to when we get to the end of the movie, because going to that point as far as like how each parent is processing the grief, and I like how we're also talking about how people process grief through art, you know, the way that Will is doing it, and he puts on this play, and then Jessie Buckley, Agnes's character, she, like you say, she kind of shuts down, and when we get to the end, when they go into the city, and she feels some kind of way about how the crowd is responding to this story that's about her child that she lost, and it's like, it's almost like she doesn't want to give that away. You know, it's like, but for Will, his way of expressing the grief is like, I have to let this out in a way that other people can experience it. But she's just like, because they respond in a certain way, and she's like, why are these people, responding like that's my child? And it's interesting in how she slowly starts to come around as she sees the play go on.
That's the most beautiful sequence in the whole movie. I mean, like that's the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like that sequence. Yeah. If it doesn't work for you, the whole movie probably doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
It definitely worked for me. It is a tremendous fiction also, this film. We don't know much about Shakespeare. We know some birthdays and some death days, and that's really it. We know that he did have a child named Hamnet who did die. But between the publication or the performance of Hamlet and the death of the child, a lot of plays were made.
Yeah, that's true.
So we don't see any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And those plays, run the gamut in terms of tone and genre. But looking at Hamnet as a work of fiction and really just trying to explore the concept of grief, I think it does really, really work.
I do too.
And I love, again, we get these lingering shots of the void, that hole, that cave.
Yes.
Like we're all going back to that.
I think it's beautifully done in the way that, just like you say, that visual storytelling is done and communicated in the way Chloe Zhao directs
I almost wonder if the Shakespeare of it all gets in the way of the narrative.
Okay.
Like if you do fall into the trap that I sometimes do with my very dangerous knowledge, my very limited and dangerous knowledge of Shakespeare. Like I think it would pull me out every now and again with Hamnet. But if I'm just in the emotional experience of this narrative, it's working.
It works. What's your rating for this?
I think I would say that I would recommend people go check this out in a theater. We're the B&B show. If we like something, we give it a B+. If we don't like something, we give it a B-. I think this is worth your time. It's a B+.
I think also it is worth the time. I mean, this is definitely a B+ for me. Like I said, whether you've experienced grief recently or not, I think you can still connect to this movie emotionally because it just speaks to the human condition. Like you were saying, if you just focus on that emotional journey, I think you'll definitely get something out of this. So,
if you liked what you just saw,
then check us out on YouTube at PGC TV Online. We'll see you at the movies.